Okay, this is from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We have, this is part of the Weekend Warrior Racing League. This is the qualifying session. And so here's the start of the lap, right where the Honda sign is right there. Turn one, a bit tricky. Lift off a little bit, get back on the throttle. Try to drift it all the way out to the edge. Could have carried a little more speed there. And then we head into turn two here. Brake about the 200 or 300 sign there. Let's try to stay to the right. Kind of missed the inside curb on entry there. So for this series, there's a 30-minute qualifying session. Just go out there and set your best time. You got 30 minutes to do it, and put everybody on the grid in the order they qualified. And so I went and put in the best qualifying lap I've been able to do this week, and that was only good enough for 41st place out of 51 cars registered. I pushed harder, found a little bit more time, was able to better that time by a half a second, um, and that was still only good for 39th on the grid. So it's tough. Competition's tough. We're car number 201 in this race, and the reason for that is people with I ratings below 3,000 um, have car numbers 200 through 400. If you have an I rating above 3,000, you get a car number between 1 and 200, and the car numbers over 900 are for the 55 and over drivers who are age 55 and over. Um, all right, let's go ahead and try to jump to the race here. So this race starts with a rolling start, which I'm not used to in this car class. Usually we start with a standing start. Here is the race. So uh, kind of caught me by surprise. We barely started rolling, and about 8 seconds later, suddenly there was green lights that we went green. Um, I thought maybe we were going to take a parade lap or something. Uh, so we're going here. So we're running 38th position here. It's like somebody started from the pit lane. Somebody may have spun off there. Lots of cars, lots of traffic. There's also a live broadcast of this race on YouTube with commentators, which is pretty cool. Sounds like somebody's having some issues with their microphone there. So, so everybody's pretty quick. Um, it is tough to pass. Sound like somebody's wrecking there somewhere. So we're working lap 2 here. We just started lap 2. And so I feel like the car in front of me, I might be able to get around. Oops. Switch to chase view here. There's 2 cars in front of him. We're kind of battling for position. The 119 car in front of me takes a defensive line. It's Samuel Dick running the 119 car. Car behind me, I saw I was getting a good draft. I just kept defensive line, kind of kept to the inside a bit, sort of forcing him to go around the outside if he's going to make that pass. One of the leaders had gone off right there. So you see going through the grass and the uh, gravel infield section. Was able to defend that position. Is going through the complex right before the start finish line. We are running 36th. And pay close attention here. And so we get into the back of the. Oh, should let that play out, but so that all happened very quickly. I was pretty surprised by that sequence of events. So let's see here. So we're going into turn 2 here. All of a sudden, the car in front of us hits the brakes late, suddenly gets the car kind of sideways, and slows way down. Look at the distance he has to the cars in front of him. He's like about a car length behind the car in front of him. And then suddenly he's 2 or 3 car lengths from the car in front of him. So what he did was, you can go on board and see. You're going in 5th gear as you come, as you approach turn 2. And you downshift to 2nd gear. Downshift, downshift. He shifts one more time into 1st, suddenly right there. And so, yeah, and I hear him say it. Into 1st gear by mistake. So that ended up messing up the front of our car. So let's go back. So here's what that looked like on board. Kind of unavoidable. We get collected by the car behind us. Now we're rolling backwards.
Yeah, that was my fault. I went to 1st gear by mistake.
And it's kind of not a lot we can do there. The rule is when you spin, you hold the brake. And so I spun, held the brake, and then I was sitting right in the middle of the track. And then I got another 10, 12 cars coming behind me. So car's got a lot of damage. Tremendous amount of damage. And we're only on lap 3. And the guy who downshifted into 1st basically had no damage. Kept going, and he was fine. He goes on to finish 19th. The car's not driving real well. So I take it on to the pits, and there's a required pit stop during this race, where basically you need to take somewhere between about a gallon to a gallon and a half of fuel, but you can only do that 10 minutes into the race. It's a 40-minute race, so I can't yet do my fuel stop. I need to stop to get the car repaired. And there's one fast repair you get, basically instantaneous, car completely fixed.
Sorry, Jim. Sorry about that.
I think that might have been the guy behind me that ran into me. I don't know. So boom, car's fixed. We lost all that time, track position, but at least our car drives and turns well again. So now we're running 48th.
Guys, when you spin, do track entry, watch your relative.
So this is not the most exciting here. Let's jump up to, these are some of the lead guys. This is actually running 14th. Let's see what the, oops, wrong button. Let's skip back through the field a little here. See who we can find. There's us. See who's, I guess this car's in front of us. Well, we jumped up to lap 7 now. We ended up skipping through a few laps. This black car, Marcus, he's car 920, so he's basically 55 and over class. And I noticed he was catching me. So at this point, we're running 44th. Skip ahead another lap here. So he's still on our butts. At some point, we had a little bit of dicing here. He's getting closer for sure. And this is about time people were, some people started pitting. The pit window is definitely open. We're about 15 minutes into the race at this point. Looks like Marcus is reeling us in a little by little here. I definitely was way too wide there. He gets a great mix of a bunch of ground there. I leave the door wide open here. I just run way wide and hit the brake a little just to let him through. Thinking I'm not really racing with him. He's running the senior class. He's a little bit quicker. I just didn't want to tangle with anybody at that point. So I let him through. And up there we see Bob coming out of the pits. There's this blue and yellow car, I think is Bob. So I thought Marcus in front of me was going to kind of check out because he had caught me. But then it kind of didn't seem to be the case. So now I'm thinking, this guy doesn't step up the pace. Maybe we're just going to have to go for the pass here. So I think Bob up there, 2 cars in front of us, he had made his stop, his fuel stop. We haven't made our fuel stop yet. We just stopped for the repair, but not for fuel. So you can see quite a bit of traffic. There's a number of cars up there. So not that I'm going to be competitive with the having to stop for damage, but I was kind of thinking, when do I make my stop? I had heard everybody makes it as early as they can usually. Um,
Watch your relatives.
the watch your relatives comment is
Spec.
um, the host there, Steve, is reminding everybody pay attention to the timings to see how far in front, but more importantly, how far behind you there's a car. And the reason that's important is if you make a mistake and you spin off, you want to look at that before you pull back out onto the track, potentially right in front of other cars. Uh, Because if you're doing a single screen or 3 screens, you might like that car there. He's got to like look and see, hey, is anybody coming before pulling back out? And so a decent number of wrecks happen where somebody just goes off track and then pulls out right in front of 2 or 3 cars. So with 51 cars on the track, he's reminding everybody, hey, pay attention. It's not all about you. Look at the relatives so you don't pull right back and right out in front of somebody, cause another wreck. Uh, so the black car Marcus got by Bob there.
We almost collected that one. That was close.
So I decided to get racy, uh, try to outbrake uh, Bob into turn 2, and right at that moment, Marcus uh, loses the rear end, keeps it on the track, but he's sideways. So that got exciting real quick. Um, watch that from the in-car perspective here. So this thing always defaults to bad field of view. Okay, so we are right behind. I think it's Bob. Yeah. Um, as we head into turn 2,
That one.
dive
That
to
was
the
close.
inside, get our braking done, and that car to the outside spins. Try to keep it as far inside as we can, but still keep on the throttle. So the trick here is to not panic when you see this guy spin, because the first thing you would normally your reflex would be to lift out of the throttle completely. But if you do that, it's a rear wheel drive car. The engine braking is going to cause the rear tires to suddenly slow down, and only the rear tires, which basically is going to cause you to start to spin and lose the rear end. Uh, so you can't panic. You gotta still um, be calm and drive the thing. So let's go slow mo. So I see he starts to lose it. I'm still between gas and throttle, getting on the throttle more. I'm trying to stay as far inside as possible because I don't know how much space Bob needs to my outside, and I don't know if Marcus is gonna spin farther towards the inside. Um, so we got to leave all these guys some room just for them and to not be collected in their thing. Um, Bob also does a great job of avoiding all this. So it's probably pretty fun from Bob's perspective too. I would think pretty exciting, I should say. Um, so he's going into the turn. He sees in his right mirror that I'm coming up. So he's got to leave room to the inside, and the car in front of him starts to spin, and then he wants to go to the right of him, but he knows I'm coming. So uh, that was exciting. There's not a ton of passing uh, at this level with these cars, and to get two in one turn while one is spinning, it's kind of fun. Um, you can see we got quite a push there. I'm running the car in front, 201 car. And the front end just wasn't gripping, wasn't turning. Trying to also see where Bob might be a little quicker here as we ride along with him. A lot of people take a little bit wider line than I do through there. Jump back on board here. I ran a little wide. Didn't really cost too much time though. So yeah, we're running 36th. Nothing particularly to write home about, but it's fun. It's competitive. My first race with this league, or in any league for that matter.
Smart move. Should have went in with you.
So maybe we should look at that a little more closely. So I take defensive line going into this fast right-hander, and Bob goes for the outside uh, and gets nose in front
Smart move.
there, but he's running a wider line. I'm able to kind of hold on around the outside there, and then now I got the inside line going into the next turn. So I ended up holding on to the position. And then now Bob's under attack from Marcus there. So I enjoyed this battle.
Two southbound coming out.
So now we're on lap 14. Um, we're going to run out of fuel about lap 17 or 18. The fuel tank in these cars is really small. And we only started with half a tank. It's just the rules of this league. Just to force everybody to make a stop.
Sorry about that. From my degree, all that.
So we're behind Joaquin Effinger here. Trying to find a way around. Got our nose in there a little bit and stuck that all the way in. That was I was pretty happy about that pass. So we're all over them coming through here. You got a blind apex coming through here. Actually, let's back that up. So you come over this hill, and from the in-car view, you can see there's a hill there, and you can't see where the next turn is. You gotta know. So how does one know coming over this hill where to exactly have the car? Um, practice, a bunch of practice, and I picked out a tree. uh, I kind of look for this tree. It doesn't look that different right now. Let me back it up a little bit. But I kind of go to the to the left of these two trees is kind of where I have marked that corner at, so I can have the car kind of aimed at that area. But you can't focus on it. You just got to look at it for a brief second to get the angle right of where you want to be pointing the car. But that's why I can be behind him and still kind of know where the apex is. And then you got to stay to the inside. Normally we're drifting all the way to the outside and still kind of barely getting the car to turn, and the rear end is kind of a little skittish. But since I'm running to the inside of them, you got to leave space, and so uh, you got to do all that and leave a gap. Yeah. So basically, I made it up under braking right there. Car got a little squirrely, but we are able to control the wheel spin. And then I kind of left the door open there because I wasn't sure if he was going to dive it in since he was sort of up beside me. Um, so that was quite fun. Um, at this point now, I'm thinking about the fuel. It's lap 15, trying to decide when I want to come in. I'm a little nervous about the pit stop because I haven't done a pit stop in um, a long time and never done a pit stop in these cars before. Oof, there's some bumping going on. Marcus and Bob bumped
Thanks.
going through too. And so
That's rough.
I was trying to talk to Crew Chief thing, this app that I have. You can talk to and ask it information, and it'll tell you things during the race about um, lap times and sector times and cars around you and weather and all kinds of stuff. Um, so I kept trying to tell it uh, that I want to do the pit stop and how much fuel to put in and to not change tires. And it kept either ignoring me or thinking I said something else. And so uh, I tried to practice it a bunch, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. In during practice, it didn't seem like it would ever want to take the command to do a pit stop. And so now I'm kind of more and more frantically telling it I need to take fuel, and I think it got the message. The other thing I was thinking was I'm kind of happy with the gap behind me and the gap in front of me. Maybe I just want to run this fuel to the very end till I'm almost running out of fuel. Since I got clear track in front of me right now, maybe if I come out after the stop, maybe I'll be right in traffic or something. So at this point, we're running in 30th, which is actually not bad considering we started 38th, took on a ton of damage, had to do a stop for repairs, and let a car by.
Did you?
So let's go ahead and speed this up a little. I think we pit on this next lap. Let's see here. see if we dive into the pit lane on this one. Yes. All right. Dive into the pit lane, trying to lose it, trying to speed. 45 miles an hour down pit lane. Try to find our box. Pit guy didn't jump out until like the last second. Overshot it, maybe? Oh no. It said it said go, 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 and I had barely stopped. And so I had a sneaking suspicion it didn't add any fuel. And that was the case. So we had to come in again, still didn't get fuel. Had to come in again and finally got fuel, but only got 1 gallon and needed probably about 1.2 gallons. And so at the end, we were sputtering, almost out of fuel, but we're able to roll across the line and finished 40th. So not that much else, nothing else really exciting happened. Just a lot of goofiness of coming in the pits and not getting fuel until finally got that worked out. And I think I've got the problem solved now, so hopefully it'll never happen again. Anyway, let's put up the lap times real quick. Fifth lap was the fastest, 134.365. A bunch of laps in the 134s, a couple of 135s, and a couple worse. And so we finished. Move some controls around. Started 39th and finished 41st. But, oh well, thanks for watching. That was fun.